It started with a police report. "He's not dangerous," she said, tears trembling on her lashes. "He just loves me too much." That was the first time someone had ever called the police because of love. But for Ava Bennett, love had stopped feeling like warmth a long time ago. What once made her feel special now made her feel suffocated. And the man who gave it to her, Liam Carter, wasn't the villain everyone expected. He wasn't violent. He wasn't cruel. But he was intense. Too intense. And that kind of love can break a person. Chapter 1, The Good Kind of Love. Ava was 28, soft-voiced but confident, a school counselor who believed in second chances. Liam was 32, a carpenter with hands built for healing broken wood and maybe broken people too. They met at a coffee shop on a rainy Thursday. Her umbrella had flipped inside out, and he'd fixed it in under a minute, smiled that crooked smile, and said, "Things shouldn't break this easy." They fell in love quickly, beautifully. He sent her morning texts that made her heart flutter. Showed up to her work with flowers. Left notes in her kitchen drawer. In the beginning, Ava felt like the luckiest woman alive. She'd grown up in a family where silence meant safety and distance was mistaken for respect. Liam's love, so open and consuming, felt like medicine to a girl raised on emotional starvation. She thought she'd found something extraordinary. And she had. But sometimes, extraordinary comes with a price. Chapter 2, The Shift. 6 months in, the gifts kept coming. So did the phone calls. The check-ins. The subtle jealousy. "I just like knowing you're safe," Liam would say when he called for the 5th time that day. "I just worry someone might take you away," he'd whisper after kissing her forehead. At first, Ava told herself it was sweet. Who wouldn't want to be wanted like that? But the sweetness began to sour. When she went out with her friends, he'd wait in the parking lot until she came out. When she didn't respond to a text in 10 minutes, he'd assume the worst. Sometimes he'd cry. Sometimes he'd shut down for days. He wasn't trying to control her. At least not in the obvious ways. He just couldn't seem to breathe without her. "I love you so much it hurts," Liam said once, with his hands shaking. But Ava was starting to hurt too. Chapter 3, The Breaking Point. A year into their relationship, Ava began pulling away. Gently at first. She asked for space. More nights apart. Time to think. That's when Liam changed. Not violently. Not outwardly. But the light dimmed in his eyes. He quit his job to be closer to her schedule. He moved into an apartment 2 blocks from her house without asking. He stopped seeing his friends. Ava begged him to see a therapist. "I don't need therapy," he said. "I just need you." One night, after a long argument about boundaries, Ava locked her door. Liam sat outside in the rain for 3 hours. When she finally let him in, he was crying. He knelt on her kitchen floor, soaked and shivering, whispering, "Don't make me live in a world without you." That night, Ava called the police, not because he threatened her, but because she realized something terrifying. He wasn't trying to hurt her. He just didn't know how not to love her too hard. Chapter 4, The Intervention. The officers were gentle. Ava insisted he didn't need jail, he needed help. So instead of pressing charges, she asked for a restraining order with a mental health clause attached. The system listened. Liam was evaluated. Diagnosed with attachment trauma and borderline tendencies, likely stemming from childhood abandonment. He entered a 6-month residential therapy program. Ava didn't visit. She couldn't. But she sent a letter. Not to say goodbye, but to say this. "You loved me with everything you had, but love shouldn't feel like drowning. Heal, Liam. Not for me. For you." Chapter 5, The Healing. The next 6 months were quiet. Ava grieved, not just for Liam, but for herself. For the version of her that had believed love had to hurt to be real. She returned to therapy. Took a solo road trip to Montana. Learned to sleep without checking her phone. She missed him. But she didn't miss the way it felt to constantly manage someone else's emotions. She wanted love to feel like wind, not a cage. Then, one Sunday morning, she received a letter. From Liam. It read, "You were right. Love isn't obsession. Love doesn't chain people, it frees them. I'm learning to love myself now. Thank you for being the mirror I needed to see who I was becoming. I'm sorry. I'm getting better." She cried. Not because it was over, but because he finally understood. Chapter 6, Full Circle. 2 years passed. Ava met someone new. A quiet, kind-hearted man who respected her space. But Liam wasn't forgotten. She still thought of him sometimes, especially on rainy days. One day, at a bookstore, she saw him. Healthy. Smiling. Peaceful. They hugged. Not like lovers, but like survivors of the same storm. "I'm happy for you," she said. He nodded. "I finally learned that loving someone too hard isn't love at all. It's fear in disguise." And with that, they parted. Love is not supposed to suffocate. It's not meant to fix your wounds or fill your emptiness. True love begins when you love yourself enough not to lose yourself in someone else. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for someone who loves you too hard is to walk away, so they can learn to stand on their own.